On the front line of filth this week, an enforcer on the trail of fly tippers.
It is an absolutely massive fly tip, and it's the largest that I've seen on this district for a long time.
Who've dumped 25 tonnes of rubbish.
This would be a prosecution case, and I'd guarantee it'd be jail time if we could find out who it was.
It's zero tolerance.
Do not have to say anything, but it may harm your defence if you fail to answer one question, something which is later on in court.
On the mean streets of Barking and Dagenham.
You know, there's got to be consequences for someone's actions.
Hunting for hidden dangers.
We had an incident where somebody had put needles actually in a teddy bear.
With a grime buster in Oxford.
If people see what we see, I don't think they would use the playgrounds.
You don't have to say anything, but it may harm your defence if you do not mention when questioned something which you later rely on in court.
And enforcement catch a carpetbagger, red-handed.
Let me show you some pictures from the camera. Do you recognise this as you?
Last year, councils across the country issued nearly 70,000 on-the-spot penalties for fly-tipping offences. Meet Mick and Danny, the enforcers keeping Barking and Dagenham spick and span.
The kind of stuff we do, we get to do things that, you know, I never thought that I would ever do.
And where there's grime, they're sniffing out the crime.
That should be there, find out who owns it, serve notice on whoever owns this piece of land, and that's that.
You'd be hard-pushed to find enforcers who enjoy their job more than these two.
There's a bit of satisfaction in the fact that we're there to find out who put that rubbish there, why it's there, and, you know, that there's got to be consequences for someone's actions.
Mick and Danny dish out on-the-spot fines daily, totalling thousands of pounds over the year.
Oh, it's grim. The kind of stuff that we issue people fixed penalty notices for, if I did that, my dad probably would have given me a slap around the back of the head. And I won't blame him. You know, don't spit, don't litter, don't throw waste on the floor. You know, just be a good person.
They kick their week off with a stroll around the neighbourhood.
How you doing, sir? You just spat on the floor. Yeah, OK, sir. Now, unfortunately, in this area, in Barking Town Centre, it's an offence to do what you just did. OK, you're covered by something in this area called a public space protection order.
It's going to make your being recorded, OK,
spitting saliva onto the public highway is an offence for which...
But before Danny can issue a ticket, the man takes matters into his own hands.
What was that? What was that you just spat? What was it? What did you just spit onto the floor? What did you just spit onto the floor? What was it that you picked up?
Spat.
Spat, what was it?
Yeah, and the grapes. Grapes.
OK, well, you can't spit in this area, OK? There's something... Now, if you walk up there, there's some signs, right, that explain that you're in a public space protection order area, OK? Spitting is actually an offence.
Sorry.
OK. All right.
Okay.
The grime busters have been pipped to the post by a grapeseed.
He realised what he'd done wrong and he picked it up and put it in the bin, so can't really ask for more than that.
As they continue their sweep of the neighbourhood, Mick and Danny will be more determined than ever to make sure that no grime goes unpunished.
You just threw your cigarette on the floor.
Cambridgeshire, stunning countryside that is plagued by industrial fly tipping. Last year, there were 75,000 incidents with over £4 million of clear-up costs. Rob is an enforcement officer for Huntingdon Council. He's an ex-serviceman waging a new war.
I was in the army for 11 years. I don't know why it is, but it just seems it sort of attracts the servicemen and obviously some figures of authority just to continue with local authorities. Really interesting job, to be honest. It gets you out and about, it's challenging, every day's different.
Rob is racing to the scene of what could be one of the biggest tips recorded to date.
The site we're going to was reported by the police. It looks like it's been dropped by a sort of bulk haulage tipper. It's just off one of the main roads leading south towards London.
It's even bigger than Rob had feared. a gobsmacking 25 tonnes of trash has been illegally dumped near the entrance to a farm.
The length of this is at least sort of 15 metres and 5 metres wide, so it is a hell of a lot of waste. It's the largest that I've seen on this district for a long time. There's got to be at least 25 different collections here. This certainly isn't from one job. This is from plenty of jobs.
The dump is so big, it's impossible to assess the potential danger the waste might pose.
I couldn't tell you what was in there. I can't tell you what's leaking into the water courses, what's leaking into the farmer's field at this point. You know, there could be asbestos in there, there could be absolutely anything. So the impact for the environment is massive.
When illegal dumping is as large-scale, serious and organised as this, it's classed as a national incident. Rob will need to call in the Environment Agency.
This would take a lot of organisation to gather all of this waste together, have the means and the equipment to load all this into one transport vehicle, and then get rid of it. To catch them would be fantastic. This would be a prosecution case, and I'd guarantee it'd be jail time if we could find out who it was.
And Rob's caseload is about to get even bigger. Alongside this extraordinary tip, he's also had reports from the public of a giant haulage load of trash left abandoned just around the corner.
You just see in the distance, just coming up just round the bend. It certainly isn't an average fly tip. If it's full, I'd say there's at least 20 tonnes worth of waste in there.
If removing 25 tonnes of waste in the first dump looked like a challenge, this monster truck takes it to another level. The gang must have delivered this giant load using a haulage lorry before ensuring it would then be almost impossible to move.
This is organised crime, a group of people gathering waste up, dumping it into a larger vehicle like this. It's well organised, it's well planned. It's going to be fairly unlikely that anyone saw the act take place. They've got an old cargo strap going around the whole thing. Where they've ripped the roof off, I think the sort of integrity and the structure of it is possibly damaged. We've got some damage to the wheels here, which looks like it's been set alight at some point or tried to be set alight.
Whether it's a single black bag or 3-tonne lorry load, the process is the same for Rob. He'll try and nail the perpetrators by going through the rubbish by hand in the hunt for evidence. There's only one problem. He needs to be able to move it first. Back in East London, enforcers Mick and Danny are on patrol.
Well, that's first mile, so that's commercial.
So far today, it's Little Outs 1, Mick and Danny 0, but they're not easily defeated.
Yeah, there's no whole address on that,
No address on it. So what we find with pizza delivery boxes, especially where it's delivery, there's often a sticker on it with the address.
Yeah.
People don't peel that off. They don't think to take that off. But on this occasion, it looks like a collection.
Yeah, which is a shame, because you gotta love pizza places for that when they help you find someone for fly tipping.
Little Outs 2, enforcers 0.
Don't know what I want, but I don't really want a Greg's again.
Nah, it's fine. What would you want?
Shit. Don't know.
Mick and Danny are hungry for a result.
You going to Subway, yeah?
Huh?
You going to Subway then, yeah?
Not this one. No.
Maybe it'll be third time lucky. No ifs, no buts.
Mike, an enforcement officer for Buckinghamshire Council. You just threw your cigarette on the floor. Yeah, you did. Now, that is an offence contrary to Section 87 of the Environmental Protection Act 1990. OK, now, you do not have to say anything, but it may harm your defence if you fail to mention when questioned something which is later on in court, and if you do so, maybe giving evidence. Now, what I'm going to have to do is issue a fixed penalty notice as an opportunity to discharge liability for that offence, OK?
How much is
£75. You've got 14 days to pay.
14 days?
14. Failure to do so will lead to the fixed penalty notice being withdrawn and the case being referred to the magistrate's court. Now, if that happens, you could potentially be prosecuted for a maximum fine of £2,500 and you'll receive a criminal record. So obviously, I advise...
Credit, job seekers.
Job seekers allowance?
Yeah.
Well, look, speak to them about it. I don't know if there's anything they can do with it, but you were right near a bin, so, I mean, if you're walking up...
Away.
Oh, there you go.
All right, cheers.
No worries, thanks. I understand his situation, you know, that he's on job seekers allowance and, you know, that he says that he, you know, can't afford to pay, but so many people say that, you know, this is what we have to do. We have to issue the fixed penalty notices. We give people warnings and they carry on doing it. You know, it is a criminal offence, it's a prosecutable offence, so if they pay the fine, then they don't have to go to court.
Mick and Danny's first fine of the day may be in the bag, but there's plenty more grime scenes on these streets that still need to be cleared up, and these boys are out to find them. In Cambridgeshire, a criminal gang have left enforcer Rob facing a logistical nightmare: how to remove a trailer full of 20 tonnes of fly-tipped waste.
They've ripped the roof off and they've just dumped all the waste straight into it. That's made the structure of the trailer unroadworthy. There's a possibility that the trailer could collapse. Someone's tried to set a light to the rear wheel. It's damaged the rims of the tyres and the side of the trailer, so the way it's looking, that vehicle is going to be a bit of a nightmare to load.
Owing to the size of the problem, Rob's hired in a haulage heavyweight to help remove the hazardous load. Supervisor Gary leads the operation.
Hopefully what we're going to do is chuck some straps over it to secure the load, and then we'll pull that trailer alongside this one, and then hopefully, all going well, we'll back this trailer onto that one.
But as well as the trailer being unstable, the burnt-out wheel adds a further complication.
When you let the handbrake go, it might go.
It might do, yeah.
There's only one way to find out.
Oh, that's seizing, look at the back. Oh, that does not move then. Oh, the problem now seems that the brakes are stuck on. I think it moves forward okay, but certainly it's not reversing.
As Gary gets under the laden lorry, Rob is on traffic duty.
Just because he can.
With some careful winching, the seized brakes are freed up.
The issues with the brakes that we had earlier have been sorted. Looks like it's ready to go. So what will happen now, it'll go into storage and ready to be transported to the waste site.
It's a good result. Now Rob can head up the next stage of his investigation. It's not just huge fly tips that are blighting our landscapes. Last year, councils across the UK spent a staggering £680 million paying an army of grime warriors to clear up even the smallest amount of rubbish. In Oxford, as part of the first response team, Gary is on the front line of this war against waste.
It's unreal, isn't it?
It's a job that he's been doing for 14 years.
Oh, look, stronger than I think I am, eh? Believe it or not, I wanted to be a vet. I never thought that I'd be working on the council, never in a million years. Sweeping the streets, picking up litter. I thought I was better than that. But, yeah, it's a good job. My job is never boring. People just thinking that we sit in the van and drink cups of coffee all day, because we don't. There's so much more that we do. We clear up a lot of stuff in the mornings that people don't see, wouldn't even think that what we check for.
Gary's the go-to guy for grime removal. His first big job this morning is also the smelliest.
What makes it worse is that they've got their own toilet paper as well. So obviously they're wiping their ass as well, just chucking it on the floor. It is a bad job, I don't like this one.
Over the years, Gary's developed a fragrant trick of the trade to make this particular job easier to stomach.
The smell is intense, so when I'm picking up human waste, that's all I can smell is lynx. Because it does smell. It's 10 times worse than the sewage, especially if you're standing it. That's what we're going to try and avoid now. Oh, it smells lovely.
There are 23 public toilets around the city, but it seems some people prefer a lay-by to a loo.
Yeah, it's lorry drivers or people that get caught short. People can't help it, but they could at least tidy up after themselves. But no, it's council have to do it, don't they? It stinks. Honestly, it stinks. It's definitely not the most glamorous job in the world, this one. Gotta have a strong stomach. Human waste. It's not really acceptable neither, is it, to be honest with you? Thing is, I've got to shovel all this now up into a bag. I'm an everyday worker, not a hero. That's a strong one, isn't it? We're all out there doing our bit to try and keep Oxford tidy. I wouldn't say we're a hero, unsung hero. That's what we are. Or just a council worker. Don't go in there, please. Think of the poor old garage I got to clean up after you. There, that's the job done for today. No more of that.
Behind every good enforcement team is a busy call centre ready to receive tip-offs. Bucks County Council handles 3,500 calls from the public every week.
Good morning, I'm to Carrie. How can I help?
Last year, council call centres like this handled reports of 1 million illegal fly tips across the UK.
If I can take some details from you.
It's 11 a.m.
Yes?
And a report of a new fly tipping incident is coming in.
OK, well, let me take your details as the caller.
Calls like these are passed on to enforcement officers David and Matt.
Did I tell you about this job?
No, not too much about it.
Grime master David has spent the last 30 years fighting filth, whereas his young apprentice Matt has only been on the job for the last 2 years.
I'm presuming it's the near side, so that's where we're going to park and we'll have a look there.
The incident took place in broad daylight, and they're off to meet the resident who reported it.
I was lucky enough to get all of the number plate, so that has really cheered me up, to be honest with you, because I'm glad that I can dob him in, as they say. 10:40, you can just go past the church, and as you get past the church, there's a little bit that goes in just before you go over the bridge. I got his number.
Perfect, that's what we like.
It was an old red tip-up van.
Did you see the guy who actually did it?
Couldn't see the guy because he was in the thing, and I concentrated on the number.
No, you did. You did. That was perfect. That's exactly what we would have asked you to do. So thank you very much. Well done.
Yeah.
He just put a load of rubbish all over the floor, like wood and building materials, and it just makes me so angry. And to put it near a church is even worse, because it's right at the bottom of the graveyards at the moment where they tip today. Hopefully they're going to find these people and give them a really, really big fine. I feel that they should perhaps give them a prison sentence, to be honest with you, and make them clean it all up.
David and Matt rush to the scene of the crime, but the fly tipper has long gone.
Look at that. Can you believe it?
Unbelievable. It's plumbing sort of materials, we've got plungers, piping, building work, so if someone feels like they can get away with this, it does make you want to catch them even more.
In Buckinghamshire, the annual fly tip clean-up bill comes to £750,000. They've got a witness, but David and Matt need to find more evidence in order to prosecute those responsible.
Looking for any sort of names, addresses, or any sort of company where this waste may have come from.
I've got a receipt for the purchase of a travel card. That's the kind of thing that we can trace if we find nothing else. In all cases like this, we're relying on the strength of the evidence that we have. So we might find documents, we might find traceable things in this which are very useful to us.
They won't quit until they've got their man.
So we're going to keep looking until we find something.
In East London, enforcement officers Mick and Danny are back on the beat in Barking. on a crusade to catch anyone littering their streets.
See, that's commercial waste, straight away. Looking at that, I know it is.
Commercial waste in a council bin? Well, that's a crime, make no mistake.
What we got here? It's all Euro shopper products.
Yeah, that'll be a shop out the front then, won't it?
Now Mick and Danny have to find some usable evidence to make a conviction.
Produced for Booker. Someone goes to Booker's and gets all their gear from there. Oh, that's that bloody 12% muck, innit? 14.2% beer. Bloody moonshine.
A shop of some kind, so an off-licence grocery shop, most likely in the locality here, has decided to come and dump their commercial waste in one of the council's domestic bins.
Small businesses pay around £500 a year disposing of waste, but it seems one shop nearby has come up with a free alternative.
These bins for the people who live in the flats above the shops, so we'll go through, get some pictures, and then we'll go and visit the shops out the front.
More?
More.
And I would say...
You've got a till receipt?
I've got loads.
Yeah, there we go. And now we have till receipts that we're going to tell us exactly which shop they've come from.
It's the merchant copy as well.
Yeah. So what we have here is what we class as a commercial fly tip. Perfect. It's not fly tipping in the sense that it's been dumped in the street, but it's still been fly tipped. It's still where it shouldn't be.
Well, it's enough for us.
That is enough indeed.
I'm going to clean my hands before doing anything else.
The volume of waste there, they're going to be looking at a fixed penalty. In this borough, that will be £150.
Looks like someone's in for a surprise visit from the East London enforcers.
And in the event that they don't want to accept it, they'll just be prosecuted, and they'll have to explain to the magistrate, and he'll decide.
What do you want to do? Do you want to do the talking?
It's up to you, mate.
I'll take notes if you want.
Yeah, if you want.
They have a prosecution in their sights.
Put the camera on.
It's estimated the illegal dumping of rubbish cost the council more than £380,000 last year.
How are you doing today, sir? Yeah, my name's Danny. This is my colleague Michael from Buckinghamshire Council. Just have to let you know you're all being recorded by ourselves. Are you the owner of this shop, sir? Are you the manager?
The owner of the shop isn't in, so the cashier gets him on the phone.
Ah, okay.
This is the owner, yeah?
Yeah.
What's his name?
Cordis.
Sorry?
Cordis.
Cordis. Hi, sir. My name's Danny. I'm an enforcement officer of London Borough Buckinghamshire Council. I'm here at your shop. Now, we've inspected the service road to the rear of your shop, and in one of the bins, we found two bags of rubbish from your shop.
A guy that works on the desk here, from what I can tell, is his brother, but he doesn't actually own the business, so he's called the owner. Well, sounds like he might be denying it a bit.
Beyond reasonable doubt, this is all your commercial waste. So why are you depositing your waste in the council's bin? That's going to be treated as a fly tip, OK? Illegal deposit of commercial waste. Now, that comes with a fixed penalty notice. It's £150 for the offence, OK? I will provide all the evidence. I'll show your colleague now, but I'll provide all the evidence and you'll receive the fixed penalty notice for the offence.
We're going to take a walk around the back and then I think Danny's going to show this gentleman, this employee of the business, exactly what we found.
Yeah, I appreciate this may be your bin, OK? That's just filled with cardboard. But in there, your waste, by law, you have to contain it, OK? You haven't contained it and it's in our bin.
I put it inside.
Well, yeah, I mean, this isn't even locked, OK? So you need to control your waste, OK? Your waste is your responsibility, so if it is deposited in our property, in the bins for the council's residents, that is an offence, OK? Thank you for your time, sir. Thank you. The likelihood is he's probably not the only shop doing it, but he's been caught today. He didn't really mitigate anything. He didn't give any excuses other than that his bin was full and people put stuff in his bin.
You definitely get job satisfaction out of that, because that took a bit of work, that. You know, sometimes you've got to get stuck in a little bit and do a bit of digging down in the bins, but we got there in the end, and there's no excuse for it, really. Quite simply, that bin is not their bin.
Open and shut case. Good result there.
Yep, good result.
In Cambridgeshire, The fly tip trailer has been recovered and enforcer Rob is ready to search for evidence which could lead to a conviction.
To put forward a prosecution file, we've got to stay optimistic, we've got to keep going forward, and we will follow up every single lead until they dry up, basically.
There's a lot of waste coming out, as you can see. Various bits of material, building material. Looks a lot like caravans and stuff, to be honest. There's a lot of scrap.
To ensure nothing is missed, every piece of this 20-ton fly tip must be carefully inspected.
You can see the amount of resource and time that's going to take myself and the rest of the officers to go through this. So yes, it's annoying at best.
Owing to the sheer scale of the task,
We do this.
and because they just don't know what they might find, the Environment Agency has been drafted in to help.
Some car parts in it, some tyres, but it's actually pinned down what it actually is and where it came from. No idea, just an absolute mess.
This job is all about problem solving. It's about working in partnership with wider agencies to solve environmental crime. I've got a real passion for ensuring that wherever we can, we bring people to justice on that side. The fly tips we investigate, there's always a victim. The person whose land the waste has been dumped on, but also the person who has hired someone to take the waste from their property. If they believe they've given it to someone who's going to get rid of that waste correctly, it goes back to them. You know, they're the victim as well. There's the victims all the way through a fly tipping incident.
It isn't long before Rob's dogged determination pays off.
So before I shift that out. Happy? We've found some documentation, no idea what it's linking to. It looks more like transport sheets. Oh, hello. We've just found a registration to a vehicle, so obviously we'll photograph that and obviously track that plate back as well.
This new evidence could prove crucial in hunting down the criminals.
The trailer's gone back off now to be crushed. You know, we've found evidence, so we have a trail, and yeah, it's been a long, drawn-out process, but you know, we've come away with some positive work.
And with the Environment Agency taking over the investigation, Rob's work is done. £30 million tonnes of litter are collected in the UK every year at a cost of £1 billion. And for grime busters like Gary, keeping our towns and cities clean is a round-the-clock challenge.
It has to be, otherwise we would never get it cleared. You know, we're out there in the mornings, we're doing everything else that people won't see.
Whilst most of us are still in bed, an army of street cleaners is already hard at work, fighting the filth.
I'm looking for drug paraphernalia, looking for condom wrappers, condoms, which we found one here, which ain't the best thing to be picking up, is it, first thing in the morning?
It's 7 a.m. and in the playgrounds of Oxford, Gary's cleaning up after the night before.
If people see what we see, I don't think they would use the playgrounds. If there wasn't people like me on the streets, I would start to panic a little bit.
Over 6,000 used needles were found discarded around the city last year. It's Gary's job to monitor drug hotspots daily.
Yeah, look, here we go. Drug paraphernalia. It's every morning we do a needle sweep of everywhere, mainly parks. We all have an idea roughly where needles are being used and left. We had an incident where somebody had put needles actually in a teddy bear. There was 3 needles And I've never seen anything like it before. It's just, in a way, it's a bit malicious, isn't it? If a child would have gone past, or just picked up a teddy, because kids do obviously go past the area that we did do. And it was the most strangest thing I've ever seen. It was shocking.
The park might be safe now, but for Gary, the fear is constant.
The job has changed me in ways that I see things differently. If I was ever taking my kids to the park, I'd be looking around for needles, making sure that the kids are safe, which you shouldn't have to do. I didn't see that growing up. This is what annoys me more than anything. With needle bits sticking up, I mean, there's no need for it. Only needed somebody to grab it. You're pretty much in the ship.
It's not even 9 a.m. and Gary's already finishing the most important job of his day.
So after we've done a needle sweep, then we go under the climbing frames and have a look down there. Then we sweep up all the broken glass, ready for the children to play in it.
But his shift is far from over.
Hello? Hello?
In Buckinghamshire, Enforcement Officer David is en route to investigate yet another illegal fly tip.
Taking a call earlier on from a local resident, they tell me that there's been quite a lot dumped down the lane where they live. The first thing we need to do is record what's there and arrange for it to be cleared away. It's frustrating when people keep dumping. You just want them to stop. So this is the start of our dumping here. We do have gas bottles, we do have carpet. All of this looks to have come out of one vehicle.
This spot is frequently used by fly tippers.
We always have a quick look just to see if anything has been included that would tell us where it came from.
David has 30 years in this game.
I can't see anything immediately obvious.
And today, he has an ace up his sleeve.
In this location, people have been dumping here regularly for a long time. It's something that we are well aware of, and we've taken steps to place cameras, surveillance cameras, to monitor this spot for the next time that somebody dumps waste, which is today.
Once the lane is cleared, it's time to see what the secret cameras have captured.
I've been doing this job a long time, but it's still very much an exciting moment to see whether or not you've got the evidence that you need.
Caught red-handed.
Oh dear. You can see the carpet in the van, and it's about to come out. He's even having a little look. Is anybody coming? Well, they were already here. We've got some extremely good pictures of the van, the number plate, so that was a big mistake. Bad news for him.
David has everything he needs to bring the man in.
This evidence is as good as it gets. Never seen him before, but yeah, we will be seeing him in the future.
It's 11:30 in Oxford, and Grime Buster Gary's busy shift continues.
No rest.
Last year, the number of rough sleepers on our streets hit record levels. It's an increase that Gary's only too aware of in this city.
People just see homeless people, you know, waste of space. They don't know much about their life, though, do they? You know, lost his job, lost his house, Mrs. Zat moved in with somebody else, so like mother and father, no room for him, he's lost the plot. Hear a lot of them stories. But people don't take out, do they? They don't have time for these kind of people. They don't want to sit there and listen to them.
Gary's responding to complaints about a rubbish tip left around a makeshift shelter.
Hello? Hello? It's built from nothing. It's got a bed in there. Baseball bat. Put that back there, then. I don't think that's cider somehow, is it? I just find it strange how they've got nails and wood and all sorts. Tarpaulin. I wouldn't know where they would have got all that from, but it's definitely neatly done. I wouldn't even dream of knocking it down, to be honest with you. You couldn't, could you? I wouldn't be able to, it's too strong. We've not had no complaints of the person that's here. We've just had a complaint about the rubbish. There's a lot of personal belongings in there, which I won't touch. That's all he's got. If that's all he's got, it's not right that I just take it away. It's not me, it's not the way we work. People I clean up after, I'm not judgmental at all. I'm not judgmental on people like that. Can't be. I'm here to do my job. I've learned a lot about myself doing this job. I've learned a lot about just being patient, listening. If I can help them, I will. Like they say, we're only one paycheck away from being here, aren't we? But still, it's all done now.
It's the end of another week in the war against waste. But in Buckinghamshire,
this interview is being visually and audio recorded.
There's one last job for Enforcer David.
I need to confirm with you, because it is a voluntary interview, that you're happy to be interviewed today.
Yes.
OK.
David's hidden cameras have caught a fly tipper in the act. He's tracked down a suspect who's come in for questioning.
You don't have to say anything, but it may harm your defence if you do not mention when questioned something which you later rely on in court, and anything you do say may be given in evidence. Do you understand that?
Yes.
We are investigating a fly tipping, a dumping of waste.
If David can prove this is the fly tipper, he could face an unlimited fine or up to 5 years in prison.
I believe you drive a vehicle for work.
Yes.
What vehicle is it?
It's a Vauxhall Vivaro.
OK, and does that belong to you?
No, it belongs to company.
OK. Did I understand you're the only driver of that vehicle at the moment?
From this year.
Anybody else driven it at all?
No.
Definitely not at all?
No, I don't think so.
OK. This is the waste which I need to ask, did you deposit this waste?
No, I also have panels, woodworm panels.
This is Allards Road, just to show you where this red cross is.
Yeah.
Did you stop there at all?
No, I didn't. I didn't stop at all. That's the one thing. Second thing, there's the carpets. I don't have a carpet, I have a wood panels. That's the one thing.
There's carpets that we're talking about in the pictures?
Yes.
OK. If I told you that that we get a lot of waste dumped here from time to time, and for that reason we put cameras there, and if I told you that there was a camera in this lay-by, would that change your story at all?
Having kept his CCTV ace up his sleeve, David decides it's time to reveal his hand.
Let me show you some pictures from the camera. This is DR3, and this is page 1 of 3. And do you recognise this as you?
Well, it has to be me, isn't it?
I think it's fairly clear that the carpet and the underlay came out of the van.
The carpet's my one. That's the one I said to you.
Where's it from?
From my home. I'm not proud from this what I've done. That's my done first time. What I can do is just take a responsibility for it. I don't want to get into trouble. I just want to get, if there's a fine, I'll pay the fine. It's just, don't want to have any problem.
Okay.
It's very good to be done at this. But I feel awful.
We make a report to lawyers who represent Buckinghamshire County Council, and they decide what the County Council should do. When somebody has admitted an offence, they can be offered a caution.
See, let's put it this way. I'm not going to do it again because I feel silly anyway. How big chance is that going to go to court?
If I'm honest with you, that's the most likely outcome, yes.
Okay.
The time is 19:32 and the interview terminates here. Come on, let me show you that.
Okay.
I honestly do feel sympathy for an individual who's made a stupid mistake, but we can't tolerate the dumping, and we're not going to.
Officers Ray and Alan are fighting grime in Ilfracombe.
I'm going to catch you sooner or later. Whoever this is not going to win.
I don't think it's a hamburger. I think it's human excrement again.
Grime busters uncover the dark side of life in the fast lane.
What they do is they have a poo down there and then they put the tissues over the top of it and then just leave it. It's disgusting.
And delivering a devastating blow to the abandoned vehicles of Devon.
So we've got no other option but to have them recycled in this way.